morning, married people. Good morning. This is your sister Amma, and it's a funny topic today. The title is How to Get Divorced in a very short time, very quick time. Later on, as time goes on, you will understand where this is going, but this is how to get divorced very quickly in the year 2020. It would be done from a female's perspective because the person who asked me this question is feminine. But I think both sexes can actually take either cues from here to fix an existing relationship or be very clear what will happen if you don't correct in this 2020. So in this year, people are beginning to become self-aware. People are beginning to be mindful of their rights. People recognize when their rights are being abused. People see the signs of all manner of abuse a little bit more clearly than was done in the past. So what would have been all right in the past without any acknowledgement, what people would have let go, is no longer getting through like that. So let's talk. If you really want to get divorced, the first thing to do is to emotionally distance yourself from the person. Emotionally distance yourself. There are some people who are physically in relationships, but because they are looking for a way out, they emotionally distance themselves. They could be in the same room with you, but will not talk to you. They don't share their thoughts with you. They don't share their vision with you. They come and go as they please. You are just a roommate. That's one of the surefire ways of checking for the health of your relationship. If one party in this relationship assumes that they can do whatever they like, they can distance themselves as much as they can. And in the past, people who did that still kept the other party and they kept the relationship, the situationship going for much longer. But in this 2020, by the time I finish this video, a lot of you will find that you have been divorced emotionally already. You just didn't know it. You thought that you were in a relationship, but you are actually in a situationship. Somebody's ended up in a situation where you are in their life when they don't genuinely want you. So they're trying to give you all these non-verbal cues so that you could advise yourself and you don't get it. So let's break it down. When somebody is with you and does not treat you with the respect that a person should treat a partner, you know that there is something up. When this person comes and goes and wants you to pretend that they are not with you, but you are sort of with them, especially when they need something from you, sis, you need to think. When somebody who was very talkative has suddenly decided not to talk, be mindful that that person usually has a reason why they are not communicating. And that could be one of the very early signs of emotional divorce. When somebody whose passwords and security systems were known to you suddenly begins to change passwords, begins to respect privacy, begins to protect privacy, begins to have conversations which sort of become silent when you walk into the room, sis, you are either in the process of getting divorced emotionally or you already are divorced emotionally. When somebody is in a room with you but looks right through you as if you are not there, you might as well not be there. When they call other people and they seem to be having a giggle with these other people on the phone, but you are right there in front of them and they say nothing to you, they don't communicate with you in any way, sis, you are either divorced or you are on your way there. Be very clear, there are two types of divorces. There is the actual divorce where you separate, or you might not even go through separation. When the relationship is done, finished, everybody knows it's finished, kill yourself or otherwise, finished, divorced, done. And I'm not just talking about marriages, I'm talking about relationships. You come to an end. That usually is the final. In the build up to that physical divorce is the mental, emotional divorce. That's the one that most people actually miss. And in fact, if you knew the signs and symptoms of emotional divorce, if you knew how to pick the cues so that you could have time to prepare your mind or to have your own alternative strategy, then when the other one came, when the final announcement came, it would not be a shock to you. It would not be a surprise. So this sister I am talking to has this weekend been told that a person no longer wants to marry them after 17 years. She's devastated. She calls me. We have a conversation. This lovely announcement was made on Valentine's Day. I am not laughing at you, my sister, but I have two options, either to cry or to laugh, and I look much better when I laugh. And that's the reason why I am laughing. On Valentine's Day, of all days, after 17 years with a person, this person comes out with no longer want to continue, want to end it. You should advise yourself. Now, this sister is shocked and devastated. So as part of my coaching and mentoring and trying to help the sister understand that the writing has been on the wall for a while, I had to talk to the sister about emotional divorce. So I asked her, when was the last time you and this man actually sat down to have a proper conversation? She couldn't remember one. Is he always on the phone when he comes home? Yes. Sometimes he's talking to other people. Most of the time he's playing a game, does not have anything to say to you or to your kids. She says yes. Do you operate a joint account? She says we did. Has money magically stopped coming into the account? Yes. Did you have his passwords? Yes. Do you still have the passwords? No. How did you lose access? It was suddenly changed about a year and a half ago. And I said to her, sis, that was the day you actually got divorced. The day he actually went through. And he would have been thinking about it, pondering, planning for quite a while before he would change the passwords. The day he actually saw through and changed those passwords, the day he changed his PIN number to his bank account, the day he excluded you from his inner circle, was actually the beginning of your divorce. He's just been working the nerve for a long time. And I guarantee you, on this occasion, if you take your time and you monitor this person and you have a look, he's already found somebody else. He's already moved on. She says, yes, I know. He's been doing this with this person for a fair bit. But I was thinking that he would just carry on and do what he was doing and just stay here. And I'm like, why? Why should he stay here? Because you've lost him anyway. She's won. There is no competition here. Let him go and live with her so she can see the full complement of what it means to have this man and to live with him. Why should you clean up whilst he goes off and he does other things and come back? And she's like, oh, when you ask it that way, like, yeah, why would you be the one who would share bills and mop up? Why would you be the one who is subjected to this emotional abuse? Why would you be the one who is being made bitter whilst another person goes off and does what pleases them? Sis, if you spot the beginning of an emotional divorce, you need to force that conversation very early on, very early on. And at some point, you also need to remind yourself that this emotional divorce could be left hanging for years, in which case you are still divorced, or you might as well just accelerate the process and you decide to get your take on this. Don't wait until somebody discards you eventually when they build up to it. If a person decides not to be with you, then it is your prerogative also to make a choice whether to allow him to finish his process or for you to also intervene and do things your way. Are you brave enough? Are you bold enough? Or do you suffer because you are scared? My take is that regardless of whether you grab the bull by the horns or you allow the bull to chase you by the horns, the bull is in the room anyway. The bull is in the room anyway. Sometimes your only bet is to call nonsense by name, to make a review for yourself, what is important and otherwise. And if staying might be important to you, then calling somebody, challenging somebody, Drawing attention to the fact that you are not a fool and you do know what's going on sometimes gives you a good heads up. You still want to get divorced? Now you know how to do it. If you want to get divorced, then the first thing to do is distance yourself emotionally. And sis, when you see that emotional distance, read it and read it accurately. That person is actually throwing you a lifeline. They're helping you to understand the status, the current status of affairs. Might not be pleasant, but it is what it is. When somebody segregates his assets or her assets, there are a lot of men who live with women who are emotionally divorced from you. They might even physically allow you to visit, but you might as well be visiting a log. She's gone. She's done. She's reconciled herself. She's probably only here because she needs somebody to pay rent. And he's also probably only here because he wants somebody to clean up. He wants to go elsewhere and have fun and have you come clean up. Or she also wants to just let you mind the kids and let the kids get older. Or to do X, or to build this, or to do Y. But the divorce has already happened. It's a topic we will discuss. This is Amma Music. Do you know the beginning of the end? Can you tell when the end is coming? Do you know how to read the signs and prepare yourself emotionally, physically, financially for the end? Because sometimes, for some relationships, the end is just inevitable. You may choose to accept it or you can deny it all you want. But the end is inevitable for some. As a child, one of the things that I was so scared of was divorce. Because where I come from, my father's anthem is "We don't divorce." And as a young child, I actually bought into this. But you know, as time goes on and as I review things and as I reflect on things, that's the ideal. And if the person you are with respects you, the person treats you the way they are supposed to when they are in a long-standing relationship with you, then great. But if a person disrespects you, if a person just wants you to hang on to a period of time or to hang on to a status, then there is absolutely no point. Absolutely no point. You are going to have to face this at some point. We all do. And if it's been forced on you, sometimes it's a little shocking. But look over the relationship. Take your time and reflect. And you will find that in the current circumstances, that other person electing to go is actually a favor to you. Why stay when somebody doesn't want you? Why hang on when somebody already made alternative choices? Why should you have to make do when you could have great? Why be good when you could have great? It's your one shot at this life. And you've got to make sure that the person you are with is the one who respects you, the one who chooses you above all else, the one who ranks your feelings as just as important as their own, one who doesn't take you for granted. That is a relationship worth keeping. If you find that the relationship is otherwise, you have a decision to make. Do you have a decision to make? Do I have a decision to make? Do we have the gall to make the decision we need to make? Lots of questions. I remain Amma, your sister, your coach, your educator, and the one who drags the big elephants into the room for discussion. We've been musing, and we shall muse some more. See you soon.